We spend so much of our lives caring for our bodies. We stay fit, we take massages, and we ensure we're regularly cleaning ourselves. What if we could turn this daily mundane task of showering and cleaning into an experience? What if every time you step out of the shower, you feel pampered to your core? It would add an additional spring to your step, wouldn't it? Kudrat Handa creates and sells artisanal handmade soaps on her online store ByKudrat. The soaps are designed to give you not just lather and foam, but an entire experience. Gone are the days when just a product was enough. Successful e commerce businesses like ByKudrat today create magical experiences that strengthen brand recall value. Imagine blue waves, white foam, the smell of the beach, and faint notes of orange that remind you of summer. This is an example of a soap that was created by Kudrat to bring the ocean to you. Welcome to the first episode of mojoMakers Season 2, where we converse with Kudrat and learn about the struggles an entrepreneur has to overcome regularly and the motivation that fuels her. Hi Kudrat, thank you so much for being a part of mojoMakers Season 2, our business podcast. We are so happy to have you here and to talk about your business journey and just to get some amazing insights on what actually goes on behind the scenes when you are making handmade products, artisanal soaps, and distributing it to a community of your own. So, thank you for joining us.
Hi, Rahi. Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be here. I'm really excited to do this, and I hope whoever's listening to this, it helps them a bit in some way and gives them some insight. So, yes.
I'm absolutely sure it will. So, you own an online store called ByKudrat. Please tell our audience what exactly is it?
Okay, so ByKudrat is a handmade soap store where we sell handmade products, various kind of handmade products, but our main concentration is on handmade soaps, and it acts like a wonderful gifting option, something to give to yourself or your family or your friends. It's basically that. It's just a lot of love, lot of handmade love in a box.
That's such a nice way to phrase it, a lot of handmade love in a box. So, when did you decide that, yes, I want to give these boxes of love to people? How did this journey start?
So this journey has actually had its journey of its own. I'm self-taught. I haven't taken any courses for soap making per se. So I started experimenting with soap making in 2018, towards the end of 2018, and I used to just make it and give it for my friends and for my parents, for myself. I was just doing a trial and error, just something that would keep me busy. And cut to 2020 when the lockdown happened. That's when I decided to give this a go because I had the products with me. I had some basic stuff. So I thought, okay, why not just turn this into a small business and do something for myself to keep myself, creatively energized. So I started By Kudrat in 2020 around May, so about this time. So that's when we kicked off our company. And by our, I mean mine. So I work alone, but I always use we or our because I do not use single, I do not use a single tense. I try to keep it we and our. It just looks like, okay, a lot of people are working, so it must be a good company to give that effect.
And it seems like you're talking on behalf of a brand, not just your own personal
Yeah,
experience.
absolutely, absolutely. A brand has its identity of its own, so it's very important to maintain that identity and lift it forward.
And it's very interesting that you say that because it's been 2 years and you already know the importance that a brand has for a small business, right? So, for
Yes.
you, do you think it was difficult for you to craft your brand identity, or were you pretty confident on what your brand stood for?
I was actually very confident because out of all my skill sets, I think creativity is my strongest suit. I can be creative in the most boring of places. So when I started this, even before I got the logistics into place, my story was in place. I knew what my brand identity would be, and I knew how I wanted to take it forward. That's because even education wise, I have pursued things that have just fueled my creativity further. So having a brand identity, making a brand story has always that was always my first priority. I didn't want it to be any XYZ brand with no background story.
So when you say that you were very confident about your brand identity, there are so many handmade product companies out there, right? Out of those, I think there are so many handmade soap companies out there also. How
Yes.
have you crafted your brand story in such a way that you know that you stand apart from them? What is unique about your brand proposition?
I think, like you mentioned, that there are so many brands doing it. But what happens is most of these brands, they focus on the ingredients and, how they're organic and how they're raw. We're all of that. But our story, why it's different is because we focus on the complete experience the brand gives you. It's not just about the good ingredients that go inside. It's about that when if you receive a box of my soap, when you open it, it's going to transport you to another world. It's not just going to be something that's good for your skin. It is fantastic for your skin, but that's not the only thing that it does. It's a story. Like if you have a vanilla bar, you're going to feel like you're sitting in a cabin and you're sipping on some hot chocolate and you feel good. You've lit a candle. If you have a pineapple or like a nice virgin mojito bar, you're going to feel like you're sitting on a beach, you're sipping some icy drinks. So that is the concept that we go for. It's the complete experience to give to our customers when they use our soap.
I, as somebody who's taking the shower, is having fun, but as you said, it's important for you also to have fun when you make these soaps.
Yes.
So, what are some of your favorite soaps that you had a lovely time just ideating and making, and then, being able to conceptualize, visualize? What are your favorite
My God,
products?
that's like asking to choose between your dogs. It's so tough. It's so tough. But yes, about in 2020, when the lockdown was just easing, so
Hmm.
around Diwali, I made these Diwali soaps. So
Okay.
they are very very close to my heart because the concept around them. So we did like full Jedi soaps. We did a pataka soap. We did a kheer soap, which had rose and cardamom fragrances.
Very
So that
festive.
was something that was, yeah, because it was like we're gifting you, and the whole concept behind that was the soap was just we wanted people to use products that remind them of the time at home, the festivities at home, because Diwali in 2020 was nobody really celebrated it as much because the whole country, the whole world actually was in a lockdown, so
Yeah. Hmm.
people dialed it down, but we didn't want the experience to get dialed down. So
Hmm.
that I had a lot of fun making those. Then I think my zodiac soaps are also really close to my heart because I had to spend a lot of time researching about every sun sign and what the sun signs are like, what's their personality, and what reflects. So what scent will suit them, and what scents to mix, because you know we just don't sell. Okay, like you can find one rose soap or one saffron soap or a vanilla soap. We put a lot of effort in mixing fragrances, making top notes, making bottom notes, making middle notes of that go into a soap bar. That's where like a lot of fun comes in when I'm sitting in my studio and I'm like testing out fragrances and seeing what goes, and I make like so many sample soaps, and my family is just like, we've not bought a soap or a a body wash bottle for the last 2 years because they have a constant supply of my sample soaps.
So, new
So
experience every week, maybe.
yeah. It's a new experience. One week, my mom is in the Hawaiian Islands, and my dad is in Mount Everest, and I am just sitting in a cabin somewhere, and my sister is like having a dessert soap. So it's a party. It's a party.
And I am really excited to know because I am a huge fan of these zodiac theories, right? Like I will research on what
Yeah.
crystals suit my zodiac, what are my go-to features. So I am a Leo, 25th July. What
Yes.
is the soap that fits my personality?
The Leo soap was it had notes of ginger, rosemary, orange, and lime. So it was like a really powerful
It immediately
soap bar.
sounded bright in my head. Like when you
Yeah,
said
yeah.
those
You
words,
know,
it sounded bright.
now okay. If I just ask you, what color do you think the soap was?
Orangish yellow.
Yes, bang on.
See.
So, that's exactly what I'm going for. This is exactly what I'm going for. Yeah, so there's such interesting ones.
And I
It's
feel like
it's
this
really
soap
good.
particularly talks to me. I think for all Leos out there, we will definitely be able to relate to this particular product. And this is where I think also personalization also plays a big role, where every person feels like, acha, this product is made for me. How important does personalization become when you create your products?
So personalization is a front runner when I create my products because, like I mentioned, we were focusing on doing soaps for celebratory events, like for example for Diwali, and then
Hmm.
we did the zodiac soap. We've done Valentine's Day, Mother's Day. So what happens is if you're gifting for a soap, if your birthday is, if I gift you a Leo soap for your birthday, you're going to feel very special using it because you're going to feel like, okay, this is made for me, this is
Yeah,
crafted for me,
absolutely.
I can relate to it on another level. So that it makes it very personal, and you enjoy it more. And just to take the personalization a little to bring up the level, we then switch to also customization, because so when personalization and customization come together, like they
Hmm.
actually sound like very similar words, but they're not. There is a slight difference between them. So now I have people reaching out to me who want me to craft soaps for like an occasion. So if they want me to do a soap for like their father's 60th birthday, and they've told me like my father likes wine, so I've made a red wine scented soap for them, and the label is also designed by me. And the whole packaging is personalized, their name is on it, and it's the packaging is like completely dedicated to them. When guests at a party receive this, they know that okay, a lot of thinking, a lot of effort has gone into making this. So it's not just another return favor that you've got, that you put on a shelf in your house.
Hmm.
It's something that you will use, and it will always remind you of that party or that person. So it adds a really good touch to anything. When I was making my Valentine's soaps, I cannot express how happy I was, because if somebody would send it to me, I would just be the happiest person because of the kind of things that went in it. There was boyfriend's cologne and Netflix and chill, bouquet of flowers and stuff like that. It was really special.
It's so nice to hear you be so excited about the products you make, because as a small business owner, and especially as somebody who creates products with their own hands, loving what they do and feeling a sense of pride in what they do and enjoying what they do is so, so, so important for the health of the business, the long term growth of the business, and just building that community of people who also love the products just as much as you do.
Exactly. Sometimes I sell well, sometimes it doesn't do well.
Hmm.
But I keep myself excited, overly pumped all the time, because I know that this is the energy that will radiate into the bar of soap. If
Hmm.
I let these things affect me too much, then I'll get lazy, or I'll just be like, people are not buying, so why should I make? But that's not how a business runs. And plus, if you finally want to start a business, of course it's something that you're passionate about, it's something that you like to do, so you should keep the energy levels going. Like, of course there are bad days, sometimes you just don't feel like working, and it's okay. I'm a total believer in taking breaks. I think it's absolutely necessary for your mental health. If you feel overwhelmed at times, and if you feel like you just need a break, you do not feel like doing something at this particular moment, it's okay to take a break, because when you come back from your break, you come back really strong,
Hmm.
and you rested
Rejuvenated.
well. Yeah, because I've also taken breaks. Like, there have been times where for 2 to 3 months I have not taken orders, because I was not feeling like it. So, and I didn't want to give someone a half soap made with half and heart. But I come back also from it, so it's fine. Like, you will just have to keep yourself energized, you have to keep yourself totally invested in your brand and what it speaks.
No, and I think for all the other one person shows, right, who are independently handling their own business, it can get quite overwhelming. Just as you said, managing so many roles on their own and ensuring that each role is fulfilled to its potential and that they're giving the best that they can to every role that they're trying to fulfill. And in that sense, I think what happens is when you have a platform like Insta Mojo, you have order management in one dashboard, you have discounts, and you have the app store, you have all the features right there. You can just go on, log into your account, you have the dashboard, you know how many orders are left, how many people have ordered, what is the shipping time for them. Everything you can manage from just that one dashboard. So I think that becomes easier to manage, and it just gives you much more control over your business. How was your experience with Instamojo?
I think, what you just mentioned, it's actually so bang on because Instamojo, like, it helps you. Like you mentioned, the dashboard, something as complex as that, something where, you have everything in one place, from to, something so simple as you can customize your discount codes. Like on Instamojo, you can make your own discount code. You don't have to just go with any pre-listed options. Something, it's the small details that make it for me, because I think when a company or a space puts in effort and puts in attention to these small details, it really makes the experience for small business owners, or even like any business owners, very fulfilling. It makes it very easy going, and at least there is one part of your, you don't have to worry about, like you are doing your work, but there is also like technology, and there's is that company that's helping you. And plus, Instamojo doesn't charge anything, so you can go for a premium plan option,
But then
but you can also set up a business for absolutely
exactly.
no investment. And I think that for me was, when I was starting off, I didn't have a lot of investment, or I didn't have a lot of capital to begin with. So something like this ad, provides a lot of incentive to a small business owner, when you do not have to like spend a lot of money, but you are getting it returns from that source. It makes it very, very nice for your brand. And yes, it eases your life a bit, and
Yeah,
that's
just makes
really
your life a
important.
little bit easier. So, again, do you like being an entrepreneur? Because I know you like creating, but then do you like all these different roles that come with it?
Yes, I love being an entrepreneur, and
Okay.
so much so that, I am actually co-founding another company which is in the ed tech field.
Oh,
So
okay.
we're working on that right now. Yes, we're working on that right now. That company is in the pipeline. It's going to be called Devo. So
Hmm.
it's basically, it's in the hospitality industry, but it's an educational learning platform, and I'm working on that. So I love being an entrepreneur, because an entrepreneur is essentially somebody who likes to, gives, is getting their passion moving, is not just keeping it to the limits of their passion. They're like earning from it, or making other people try what they do. If you are passionate about something, turn it into a business. Like, do it. No matter the scale, no matter if you are like a Fortune 500 company. I mean, it's good to be wanting to go there. It's amazing to be wanting to go there. But it's okay to start from nothing. It's okay to start exceptionally small. It's okay to, gradually increase your pace each day as it comes. So when you take each day as it comes, it makes the whole journey and the whole process fun, because every day is different. Some days you're working on what is the financial status, what is going wrong. Some days I'm just sitting on my laptop and I'm writing, like I'm writing stories, and then I'm looking for ways to connect those stories to my brand. Some days I'm in my studio making soaps. So I've realized over the course of my life so far that I I like to plan things, but I do not like to plan
Too much.
too much in advance. So I will wake up this morning, like if I wake up tomorrow morning, it depends on my mood. Like if I'm feeling creative, if I'm feeling energized, then I'll be like, okay, today, I feel like I can create some good new fragrances. So let's like head to the studio and make some soaps. And some days I wake up and I'm like, I don't feel
Not
like
today.
the creativity going through so much. So let's work on logistics. Let's work on finances. Like, I don't mean to undermine that finances and logistics are not creative, but yeah, for me, it's just like,
It
it's
has a bit
task.
more data involved.
It's task. Like, it's not cut out for me. And in these places, it's where your family and your friends really come into play. And I'm so glad that I have such a strong backbone. My parents, my sibling, and my sister, my friends. They are just absolutely exceptional. Any time of the day, like at 4 a.m. or at 4 p.m., if I text them, I text, like I have a friend from Micah, and I text her for all creative like problems because I know she'll get me. I have a friend from college, from my graduation, who is like a finance guru. I have my friends locally who are like really good with finance and logistics. So I know who to message when, and they're always available. So
Having a
even
very
though it's a
support system is
one
extremely
person
important.
show, it's very important that you have a solid, backbone, and you have people who are pushing you to, reach greater heights. I mean, my grandparents, my maternal grandparents, they are so, whenever I talk to them on my phone, or whenever, I get in touch with them, they are so proud of me, and they always tell me, very good, beta, keep doing it. We are so proud of you. Your soaps are amazing. These things really give you that added
Absolutely.
advantage. They just make you feel really good. It's very important. There are times where anybody who's listening to this might feel alone, might feel lonely, might feel overwhelmed with like the kind of task they have ahead of them. But it's always good to talk to someone, anyone. It can be anyone. It can be your neighbor, it can be your dog who's not going to reply, but you're just talking to him. It can be your parents, it can be your best friend. When you talk, when you share, you feel really light, and that really helps you in reflecting like what you're doing is right, you're on the right path, and you want to keep doing it. It motivates you a lot.
How often do you talk to your dog, Kudrat?
um if I mention the amount of times I talk, I think people are going to think that I'm tad bit crazy. So, like, he's sitting here right now, and
Listening to the
I keep talking
conversation.
to him, but of course, he does not reply. That's okay. But I share everything with him because I know there are going to be no judgments.
This was such a fun talk, Kudrat, and I think all of us are saying hello to your lovely pet who is sitting right there with you and has been, of course, a pillar of strength for you as well, as I can understand from our conversation.
Yeah.
Just before we end, maybe could you tell us the Kudrat that started 2 years ago and the Kudrat that is sitting here talking to me today? If you had an advice for her, what would you tell her?
I think I would just tell Kudrat from 2 years ago that it's okay to take risks. It's okay to leave a well-paying job, to follow your passion, to do something from scratch. And it can be really overwhelming at times, and you will get scared, you will face disappointment, but I think it's all about just sticking in. If you are sticking through it, and you know that you got this, and everything will fall into place. One thing that is my life's mantra is you should give time some time.
Hmm.
So we are rushing around with so much around us that we forget that even time that's ever changing, ever evolving, needs some time to catch up. So, when you're in the hush bush of life and so much is going on, you need to just like relax, give time some time, let time take its due course, and everything will fall in place. You should be your number one supporter always. There are going to be a lot of people rooting for you, but as long as you got your own back, I think you're in a safe place.
I think this is so helpful for so many people who are on the cusp of becoming entrepreneurs. They have this idea in their head, they
I,
have the drive, but they are just not being able to take the leap. And this is a very valuable
and
insight for
if anybody who's listening to this and is starting out or is in the middle of something and just wants to talk, they can get in touch with me through my Instagram, and I would be really, really happy to help them in whatever way I can.
One of the key things that stood out for me was the importance that Kudrat gave to mental health. Entrepreneurs have full ownership over their projects, which also means that they're alone for most of their struggles. Kudrat recommends taking a break whenever you need it because your energy is going to show in the energy of the product. This holds especially true for handmade artists. Thank you, Kudrat, for taking the time to talk to us. You truly put the mojo in Insta Mojo. And thank you to our listeners whose support means a lot to small businesses like ByKudrat. You can visit her online store bykudrat.myinstamojo.com or find her on Instagram. All the links will be in the description below. Tune in next Saturday to listen to our next episode of the mojoMakers podcast by Insta Mojo.